following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Victory Monday!
Wait, what?
We are going to say it's
All
Victory
right,
Monday.
it is Victory Monday.
I mean, we have not lost a game since we were last together.
Let's go!
Monday, you're looking live at Tostitos Championship Plaza outside Ford Center at the Star of Frisco, Texas at 76 degrees. Feels like 76. The high is 85. The low tonight will be 66 degrees. And fellas,
What's up, man?
it's been a minute since we were together. So this is
you, man.
Nice to be back.
This is a tricky show because I really just want to spend the show catching up. I missed you guys,
Yeah.
but the fans don't want to hear us just shooting the crap. So
Where were you at? You were still
when
last week. You were still with Hangin?
I was here, yeah, me
you
and
were
Kurt.
here. Oh, you guys were here.
But I was out of town Tuesday, so we only did one show together Wednesday, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was me, you, Nick.
Danny.
Barry was on
was
Tuesday.
with me and Nick on Tuesday.
Yeah, and then Danny was here Wednesday.
And you was with the AARP dude. You was with the old
the-
folks.
You was with the crusty crew.
What are y'all talking about?
Nate's
Last
busy.
week, what show were you on?
I was with Nui and Everson.
The Krusty Crew. Who were you on?
No, we were very,
It's called
very
the
entertaining.
Players Lounge, and it's very entertaining.
We're very, very entertaining. I mean, and the thing about it, man, that I enjoyed about that show, they realized my greatness.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
I
You got
say-
some respect on that show?
No, what it was, I really feel like Jesse and Shannon on this show. I'm talking all the time. I'm telling people that, hey, remember when I said, you know what I'm saying? I told you so, you know. I spent a lot of time doing that. I felt so great being you, Shannon, and you, Jesse.
Did you?
Oh my God.
Yeah, then I got quiet like Kurt. He just smiled. But I got my point across, Kurt, regardless of what they said.
Good. All right.
What show were you on, Jess?
I was the boss.
Oh, how was that?
All
On
right.
my best
Were
behavior.
you on your best? You weren't talking about cocks.
Cox no cocks got wet.
None of that.
None of that. None of that. None of that.
Probably a good move. Probably
Yeah.
a good career decision. You like that $10?
Yep.
$10 a show.
Yep. I was. I sat right next to him. I was sitting in Kurt's seat.
We do need to explain it's Jabril Cox, please.
Jabril Cox.
To edit the
Jabril
show.
Cox.
Yeah, Jabril. Yeah, of course we're talking
Yeah,
about
Jabril Cox. It wasn't. I was on my best behavior.
I am not
I
saying
didn't
any
yell.
word.
I didn't yell.
Hey, nice setup.
Thanks.
I didn't do any of that. So it was pretty good. Me, Isaiah, Ambar, and Boss.
Oh, nice.
And you sold the show, right?
Oh, I did. You know, I'm gonna sell our show always.
How'd you sell it?
You know, they would try to come in and say, I said this is like, remember on what was the Denzel movie when he was when he was Frank
Training Day?
Lucas. When he was Frank Lucas.
Oh, Man on Fire?
That's
Man
not
on
Man
Fire,
on Fire.
Train
No,
on Training
no,
Day?
Frank Lucas. He was
Gangs of New York, wasn't it?
no
Denzel Washington played in some of the movies you can't think of. We ain't gonna think of.
American Gangster. Thank you,
Jesse mad at us. 'Cause-
Yeah.
He mad at us because he
That's what
can't
I
think
meant.
about it. He can't think of the
American
movie.
Gangster, and he was talking about how call it whatever you want, just don't call it Blue Magic. And I was just saying like that's us. Like call it whatever y'all want to call it. Just don't call it Hanging with the Boys. And we don't need all that extra stuff. We get this to the streets, and the streets talk for us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The
We
show
get
of
this
the
to the
people.
streets,
All right.
and
The
the
show of
streets
the
talk
people.
for us.
You know what we are like? We are like y'all, and you old guys aren't on TikTok, but TikTok
No.
is like a very helpful community, and people put things out on TikTok and they say, "TikTok, help me out, find this girl or find this guy," or "Hey, I need help with this." Our listeners are the TikTok of the Dallas Cowboys Podcast Network because on Twitter last week, someone tweeted out, "Hey, somebody might need to find this guy and see how he's doing." The guy, if you remember last year, he was in the stands with his girlfriend. He had his head down, and his girlfriend was consoling him.
was kissing him on the cheek, I believe.
Well, I retweeted it and said, we need to get this guy on the show.
Yeah.
Less than 20 minutes later, I get a DM from his girlfriend. She's like, "That's my boyfriend." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "We would love to have him on the show. Will you see if he's interested? We want to get him on next week. We need to do a wellness check, see how he's doing this year." And she was like, "Yeah, let me." She's like, "He doesn't have social media, but yeah, I'll talk to him." And I said, "I'm on the show with Jesse Holly and Kurt and Nate Newton, a couple of our former players, and we'd love to have him on. So let me know." So she's like, "Okay, I'll check with him and let you know." So hopefully we'll have that guy on. So I want to thank the fans that helped us track this guy down.
Nice,
so we're to add one more thing to this show. We're the TikTok.
Yeah.
For the Dallas Cowboys podcast.
And we also do our shout outs. So let me do some. I got some shout outs that I got to do.
Oh.
I got to do Jeremy. He's a huge Cowboys fan, but his old lady, she's not.
Okay.
But we converted her.
Yes.
So Virginia, a.k.a. Jen. Shout out from Hanging with the Boys.
Yes.
Come on over. You cheer for those booty juice giants. Stop it.
Stop
Come
that.
come get down with Jeremy and cheer with
Probably
cheer with us.
call her an old lady if you're gonna have.
No. When I say old lady,
Yeah,
that's like a term of endearment.
OLE, not OLD.
I know.
Right, and then also Robert McHugh, HMICHUAD, whatever.
Okay.
Mike,
I believe
what's
you.
up?
I trust you.
Robert, what's going on, brother? He wanted a shout out, so you got your shout out. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Trust me, I went to a public school and a public university. Spelling is not my strong suit. But Robert, shout out to you, my guy. That's all I got.
And then I ran into someone. I had some guy time with my little man on
Nice.
Friday. So I took him to the Dallas Zoo.
Nice.
Oh,
And I was walking around, and there was a gentleman on the bench, and he goes, "You look really familiar. Are you who I think you are?" And I usually get Aaron from Gas
I
Monkey
think-
Garage.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Depends on who you think I am." He goes, "Are you Shannon with Hanging with the Boys?" I said, "That is me." And he goes, "Man, me," and he had his wife with him. He said, "Me and we listen to y'all all the time." He's like, "We love y'all show," and I can't remember his name. I think it was Kevin, maybe.
Shout out to my man at the Dallas Zoo.
At the zoo.
Yeah, at the zoo.
Thank you for stopping me, and thanks for listening to the show. So there we go.
Cool. Very cool.
Nate, what'd you do on the bye week?
quiet
Did you
over
watch
there.
football?
I was happy, but I was upset.
Why?
I got to be when I get ready to get myself in road mode.
Road mode?
Yeah, road mode. And
Oh, did you go on a trip?
I was getting ready. I was getting ready to go a long ways real quick. I was getting ready to go to Carolina. I was getting ready to. I was like,
For lunch?
yeah. and then I hit my dude who I was going to see.
It wasn't me.
And
He- me.
and I ain't gonna call his name. I said, "Man, are you free?" Because going that far, you want to make sure. I usually don't care if nobody home. Like if I'm going somewhere, I don't care if you home or not.
What are you doing in 2 days? 'Cause that's how long it's going to take me to get there.
And he said, "Nah, man, I'm in coronavirus intensive care."
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. I said, I was a little disappointed that I wasn't coming, but thank you, because I do not want to be in that situation.
Oh, man.
So then the other place I was going,
Is he doing okay?
yeah, he's doing okay. I'm gonna tweet him. And then the other place I was going, the guy's sick too. So I'm like, you know what?
Maybe
I'm staying home.
Just a sign.
It's a sign.
Yeah, I'm staying home. So I'm good. So what I did was I called you the other night and tweeted. I called Kurt. I called everybody
You ain't
except
called
Jesse.
me. I must say, okay. You ain't called
I
me.
called everybody except Jess because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be Boost Judy and all of this.
Boost Judy.
So whatever this thing is. I text them because I didn't know whether we had a show or not. So I text him and
texted me
Chris, and
too,
then but I only talked to him. I didn't talk to no.
Yeah, he texted
Yeah, I
me.
did talk to you because you said you took your son to the zoo.
Yep.
I'm like, kid, 2 years old and going to the zoo.
So why you didn't think that you
15
called and
months.
text everybody else
Except Jesse.
You didn't feel the need to. see
Because
how I
every
was
time
doing?
I text Jesse, you know what happens?
What?
You know, I feel like I'm getting left on the porch. I'll get back with you. I'm doing this every time.
Every time you call
every
him?
time.
When you
So
call
here's the
him?
thing about Nate, and we're gonna talk about football today. But here's the thing about Nate.
Are we?
There are certain people in your life where you know it's never a quick conversation.
Nate's one.
Nate's one of those people.
You gotta have a
So
few minutes.
You gotta have it. So
But don't
there's-
I always ask, do you have a few minutes?
Yeah, but even still, like, so when Nate calls, if I don't have
You better not ask.
25
You
minutes,
better not ask.
I just say, hey, I'm just gonna hit you back because I don't want to be rude. Because you say hello, Nate go.
Yeah.
He just starts.
And you know what's funny? When he's done, he's done.
He done.
He's like, all right, I got to go. See you later.
Like, he'll just hang up on you. Like you like, all right, maybe
Yeah,
I'll say a word next time.
I apologize, Nate. I had to get off the phone today. I had a little work to do, and I felt bad. I'm like, man, I gotta go.
How many calls do you make a day? do you think, on an average day? How many people?
Not many, because I know what I be doing. If I call a person, it's gonna be for a minute. So I'm telling you, I get so mad at Jess. I said, "Now I want to text Jess and ask him something," but he gonna text me saying, "I'll get back with you." And then it's at 9:30 at night. I got a rule at 9 o'clock, my phone will go off. You know,
that's when my day has finally come down to where I have 25 minutes to give to Nate to have a conversation.
That's why you got left on the porch. You ain't got time for
Normally,
Nate.
you get a call from Nate for scheduling purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call Chris. Now, Chris, I get up, I do him quick because he got a kid like, 3 years old, about this tall?
Yeah.
That's 4 foot tall.
Yeah, so, yeah.
There was we had big happenings on Saturday. My daughter scored her first goal. So,
Soccer?
Yeah.
Yes. It was,
Nice.
Wow.
You coaching the team?
I am not because of the commitment. I don't know if I can make all the games because of the flight leaving, and their games are all over the place. So.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to put them in other parents in that bind.
All right. We had a good show Wednesday night, too,
Yeah.
with Rocket. I've never met Rocket. He's an interesting cat, man.
Rocket
I like that
interesting.
guy.
His entire family interesting.
I
His
like
wife,
that.
his kids, they're all
Really?
interesting. Yeah.
He got some good energy, man. I liked it.
I saw the photo. He did not. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Oh, he has that big,
Yeah.
full
He hasn't
beard.
shaved in like
And they-
10 years.
They
He
got
look like a miniature loony.
He does.
Yeah.
They got to start telling those alumni guys, look, this is in the Cowboys club. It's a nice. He showed up. He goes, I thought we were like in a podcast.
He thought we was here. He thought we was here.
He thought I was in a closet. He showed up in shorts and tennis shoes and had a do rag on with a ball cap on and a full beard. And he was like, I had no idea we were up here. Nate's the only one that can wear shorts up there.
Well, the thing about it, man, I finally got in line. I'm like, wow, I better put on some long pants.
And then Nate has a tradition. He takes a picture before the show starts with us and the guest, and then
The first part of the show.
The whole first segment he spends trying to type it out and tweet out the picture. So the whole first segment he doesn't say anything, and he's on his phone, and then finally he
I
gets
can't
it
go
tweeted
like
out.
y'all, man. I'll be like, okay, I messed that up. Go back. Oh, I lost the picture. So
So
You need a
bad.
social media coordinator.
You do.
yeah, wow.
All right, let's talk a little bit of football before we go to the first break. Let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dak, the injury. Has anybody heard it? You hadn't heard anything, right? With the bye week?
No, other than he posted a picture. I guess he didn't have his boot on, so everybody's saying that he's going to be
He's
okay.
fine?
I think Jerry said he was on a good track, and Steven said they didn't have any worry. And I don't know. I mean, he's I guess you can't doubt him at this point, but still, I
You concerned?
Well, I want to make sure they don't
I
lose sight of
love
the,
when Kurt goes, well, it means, yeah.
I want to make sure they don't lose sight of the big picture, and if he has to miss one game to play the next however many we got left, then I'd prefer that.
Tell us how you got a great relationship with Britt Brown and all those guys over there on the training side. How does that work? Do they, like, say Dak, let's just say an injury in general. Let's don't throw Dak in there. Say an injury in general. They give you information, right? And then the player takes that information, and then you decide whether you think you're good to go, or how does that whole process work?
No. So once you get your diagnosis, you go through your training, and then what end up happening, they listen to you, but then at the end of the day, you'll see, game time decision or throughout the week, you'll see Britt and those guys working with you. And if they come to the conclusion that you just can't go, then they'll say he can't go. Like, this is not going to be a good look for him and for us, because at the end of the day, it comes back to them,
right?
So they're not going to put a guy out there if they haven't been through a series of tests beforehand and says, okay, we feel now he's not 100%, but we feel he's good enough to go from here. Like, if it can't create any further damage or so on and so forth, then they'll give you the go ahead. But other than that, they'll say he can't go. He can't go.
So they'll get what if it's a deal where it's like, and I don't even know I'm not a doctor, not trying to be a doctor, but are there injuries where you can go do this, but there's a 50% chance that you can further damage this. There's also a chance that it just heals on its own and you can play straight through it. Do they give you that kind of information too?
Yeah, you have that information. The thing about it, the biggest thing when it comes to guys like Britt and it comes to Jim, they have built up enough skins that when they walk into those staff meetings and they have to sit down and talk to Jerry or Steven, whoever it may be, that they're not sitting there like, oh my God, timid. They'll say, listen, he can't go. This just ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't think we should push this thing past this level because it may create further damage down the road. So maybe we give him off this week again and then he'll be 75, 80% to go next time. So they're not going in there as just like these timid people and looking at, no, they got 20 plus, 25 years in with dealing with Steven and Jerry and the whole Jones family where they can go into a meeting and say, you guys know me, I know you, he can't go.
Yeah.
This ain't going to work. This ain't going to fly.
And then I'm going to tell you about the guy who he ain't telling you about.
Who?
It's that guy that soft.
Yeah.
The soft guy.
Yeah.
That's who you fear. The soft guy. The guy where they sit down, they look at each other. Like, he Jim, I'm Brett, and I'm looking at Jim. Who gonna break this news? The soft guy. The guy that can play, but
That one
the soft guy.
Yeah.
And I don't spend all week cussing at you. You can play. You can go.
Right.
And I got to go. Now, that's when you get nervous. You go in front of Mr. Jones or the coach and say, yeah, but I feel, but he don't feel. That is the scariest. That is the scariest guy in the world because he can get you fired. Because all of a sudden he ain't playing. They rap for the game. I feel great. He just he running around. He playing. And as soon as something go bad,
right.
The soft guy is what I call them. Them the guys you have to be with. The Dax of the world, don't worry about it. You have to pull them back.
Right.
The Zekes, you have to pull them back. But there's some guys out there, and when you're winning, you don't run into the soft guy. When you're losing, you got about 30 of them.
Bunch of guys lining up to get on the bike.
Yep.
So, that I just want to let everybody know the soft guys out there. But when you're winning, they a lot of
Larry Allen flu, was it called? A lot of those types.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, we did talk a little bit of football the first
There you
segment.
go.
Got it all out of our system. We got caught up. We got to catch up with each other. When we come back, we'll talk more football on the most searched podcast on the Dallas Cowboys radio network on YouTube. That is Hangin' with the Boys. Be right back.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Hangin' with the Boys.
Welcome back to the show, the most searched podcast on the Dallas Cowboys podcast network. You're listening to Hanging with the Boys. Head to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, November the 6th, to experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek. Take a tour of the stadium, play games, get autographs from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and more. Visit attstadium.com/rallydays for tickets and more information. And we were just talking about the Cowboys schedule. Let's get into, we were just talking about how that Kansas City game doesn't look all that intimidating that much anymore. Yeah. But you just feel like they're going to flip the switch at some point, and any week they can put up 50 points. But let's talk about, before we talk about the remaining schedule for the Cowboys, what has transpired over the first third of the season? If the playoffs ended today, you would have, or if the playoffs started today, you would have Arizona, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and Dallas all in. Mm-hmm. You would have the Rams at 6-1, New Orleans, and Minnesota. And then you have Atlanta, Chicago, and Carolina, all three with 3 wins knocking on the door. Now, what usually happens, what always happens in football is there are teams now that are in that you're like, they're in. Mm-hmm. They're going to make the playoffs. They're playing out of their minds. And then there's teams that are out, which outside of that is Seattle, San Francisco, Washington, Philadelphia, the Giants. I shouldn't even put Detroit in there, but at 0-7, but I will. One of those teams is going to sneak in. Some of these other teams are going to fall out. But right now, as it stands, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Dallas, Rams, New Orleans, and Minnesota. Do any of those teams – I don't think I'm surprised by any of those teams being in right now. Are y'all? Like, those are all teams I think we all thought were going to be there. I think Seattle's kind of surprising, but, Russell Wilson getting banged up. San Francisco, I think maybe Washington might be my biggest surprise at how bad they've been.
I think the biggest thing with Washington is not that we knew that they would kind of be a little bit inept offensively, but to see how poorly they played defensively, that has been the most disappointing point. Mm-hmm. When Fitzmagic went out earlier in the year, he was like, "Oh, they're going to struggle with this Heineke kid," but they got a defense that's going to be able to, at least keep the games close. And for a large majority of the season, that defense hasn't been able, it hasn't lived up to its billing. Yeah. When you talk about all the Alabama boys up front and Chase Young and Sweat and all that whole front seven, they just haven't lived up to the top billing that we thought was going to give us problems in the NFC East. It's been I don't know, it's been a head scratcher to watch that defense play.
We talked about it a little bit off air, as we was breaking from the last break. It is a job trying to coach young men that have had success, or they expect success, and that all of a sudden you don't see the closeness, the unity with Kansas City. You don't see it, especially defensively with Kansas City. You don't see it with Washington. All of a sudden we have arrived, and boy, that's hard to coach. Washington, at any given moment, if one of these cats or 2 or 3 of these cats on their defense get mad and decide to play, they can wreck a game by themselves. Now, you got a unit of these guys. They doing their own thing. I don't care what Jack Del Rio said or will say, they're doing their own thing. Because if they play as a unit, they can go 75% and they're going to be better than the rest of the league, but they ain't giving that. Yeah. Blown assignments, guys not staying in their lanes. I ain't looked at no film, and I promise you when I look at film, that's what I'm going to see.
Yeah. You talked about in the break about Andy Reid's got a tough task.
Yes, he does.
To keep those is McCarthy going to have a little bit of a tough task now in keeping these guys focused?
It depends on what Dak, Zeke, and all of these guys do.
It's more on the team leaders.
Yeah, if they got enough skins or enough pressure that they can keep applying. Like I told you, I laughed this weekend looking at games, I'm like, and it always comes back to Tom Brady to me, and always come back to Aaron Rodgers. Because one thing you knew as a player, and one thing I knew as a player dealing with Troy, you can do what you want out there in them streets, but when you came up in here, it was a different mindset. And these guys that are pushing forward, either your coach and your quarterback or somebody on defense got that pull in that house to make it happen. And Coach Reid need somebody in his house to pull these guys together. I don't know who that guy is. It could be your quarterback. I don't know him that well, so but you got to pull it together. Same with the coach in Washington. He got to have somebody on his defense to pull them together, not just by mouth, but by how he's going to play the game.
Do you think speaking about that exact thing, do you think you got to have you got to have one or two guys that are a little bit of a-hole in the locker room?
Charles Haley.
Right, to keep everybody on. Because you got a whole bunch of nice guys. Like Witten, love him to death. A little bit of an a-hole. Like would tell you real quick, get it together, right? D-Law's got a little bit of that a-hole in him. Like you can't have a team full of nice guys because when it comes time to check them, you got to have that guy, right?
The biggest thing with the a-hole guy is he got to be Jason Witten. He got to be Charles Haley.
The guy skins on the wall.
You got to be a guy when he goes to roar, it shakes the room, right?
Like you don't want to deal with him. It's like
you. And then when he speaks, you know he's coming from a place of. If I said something, they'd be like, "Man, shut your stupid," you know what I'm saying? Like, shut the hell up, Jesse. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
But when Michael Irvin came into the meeting room and said, "Hey, fellas, we need to get up," they listened. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so for this team, for the Cowboys, you got to have that. Got to be that guy who keeps his finger on on the pulse of this team and making sure that.
Can Dak as a quarterback kind of be that? Can he push the defense too?
I think he can. Mm-hmm. I think he can, and I think he has a good enough connection with those guys to when he speaks, everyone listens. But one thing I do think that this defense has that it hasn't had in a long time. It has a true leader from the top. And I don't mean the player. I mean Dan Quinn. Like, I think he really has a pulse on this team. I think this team really responds to him, and he's able to go and have those real man-to-man, heart-to-heart conversations. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall to hear Dan Quinn and Kazie's conversation after his past situation a week or so ago. Because you got to remember, Kazie came in here on the back of Dan Quinn. Like that was one of the guys that he brought in. So I would have loved to hear that conversation, with those two guys during this week. But that's one of the biggest things when it comes to coaching. Yes, I get it, X and O's and all that kind of stuff. But you look at one of the greatest coaches of all time in any sport, Phil Jackson, right?
The Zen master.
But and one of the things that we all watched during the pandemic was his time with Chicago. Imagine trying to manage Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and all these other guys in between to get them to come together and have one cohesive focus on winning a championship. Like that at times is greater than any X's and O's you can ever put out there. It's to managing talent. And then now you go into an NFL locker room and you got 53 jokers?
Yeah.
That you got to try to manage when you're having success, when you're going out there and Zeke is playing well, and Coop is playing well, and CeeDee's playing well, and Wilson's playing well, and Dak's playing. I mean, and then now you got Trayvon Diggs, and you got all these guys. That is one of the hardest jobs as a coach is how do I manage 53 different personalities in a place? This ain't Cleveland. Yeah. This ain't Jacksonville. This ain't Houston. In a place where every single day of the week you're in the A block. Whether it's on the Full Letter Network, whether it's on the radio, whether it's on the online, newspaper, whatever, you're in a place where you're in the A block of everyone's conversation and all of you are getting the publicity. Like that is a coaching.
That's when. Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, just the motivation side of head coaching seems like the bigger, and the management of personalities is a bigger role than the actual
the management,
coaching
yes,
or
sir. Teaching.
And
yes, sir. And I'm gonna tell you something now. And motivation around here is no problem now. It's when you're losing to get guys to believe in what you're doing and trying to see the vision that you have for them. The winning right now, everybody's motivated. I promise you. Right now, I'm thinking Coach Andy Reid looking back like, wow, some of this, we need to get some of this out of our locker room, this complacency, because that's what motivation tends to turn into. Is we got it, we'll turn this on. Everybody ain't got Mike.
Right.
That's one thing the Zen Master had. He had Mike. And I use Tom Brady. and Aaron Rodgers, I keep going back to them because I remember I'm sitting here laughing, and we all were kind of laughing. Remember the first week of the season when Green Bay played and they got blowed out, and everybody just went off, and Aaron Rodgers said, "Okay, we lost the game." All right. That's the difference, bro. Everybody is Dak guy. In combination, Zeke is the young guys over there on defense. I don't know who it would be. Is they that guy? Only time will tell. Enjoy the journey, but that you need that guy. Every team that became a dynasty or a short version of a dynasty, 2 years, 3 years, they had that guy.
Tom Brady took Antonio Brown, who for 2 or 3 years nobody could corral or get him to do right, and Instagram this and into trouble with the law and all that kind of stuff. You ain't heard one word from him. That's the Tom Brady effect. Tom said, "Listen, Bruce, bring him."
Bruce didn't want him.
Bruce Arians didn't want him.
Bruce like, no.
I said, no. You see, he did it in New Orleans. I mean, in New England. You see what he did in the Raiders? No. Tom said, "Bring him. I got him." You ain't heard of, and he's quietly
crushing every slot. Every slot receiver.
You ain't seen no Instagrams. You ain't seen no police reports. You haven't heard a peep out of him. How is that?
Knock on wood, man, because I'm telling you, that's a lot. I met this cat. He's a lot. He's quiet energy. He's like you, Jess, but you don't get in trouble. But I'm just saying, quiet energy. I'm telling you, he's got it bubbles when you come around and you get him to loosen up. Just quiet energy, man. Just wait to erupt. I'm telling you.
All right, let's take our last break. When we come back, more football stuff. On the show of the people, the TikTok of the Dallas Cowboys Podcast Network. Hanging with the boys.
You get better and better, boy. You get better.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo quiero guacamole.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. When there's work to be done, a real workhorse can make all the difference. Like the Range Boss package. Our 5075E John Deere 75 horsepower tractor features a bell spear and loader and starts at $369 per month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay. No surprises. It works like a horse, so you don't have to.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, let's get to work.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to the show of the people. Hanging with the boys. Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holly, Nate Newton, Shannon Gross. Be the first to receive new offers, event info, and more when you sign up to receive text messages from the team. Text Cowboys to NFLDAL. That's 635-325 to receive 10% off your next Pro Shop order. Message frequency may vary. Message and data rates may apply. All right.
Can we just do like one quick left before we come back and get on the road to finish this thing out?
Yeah.
I want you guys' opinions because this is a story that will probably dominate a lot of the news cycle today. Yesterday in the Bucs game, Tom Brady throws his 600th touchdown pass.
And that dude gave up $500,000 ball.
So here it is. No player in NFL history has ever thrown 600 touchdown passes.
One of a kind of one of a kind.
This is one of one.
One of one.
Probably the next guy that'll probably do that will probably be maybe Patrick Mahomes. Maybe. Mike Evans catches the ball. After every touchdown, Mike Evans finds someone in the crowd with his jersey on and gives them the football. Well, he catches 600 passes, does it, gives the ball to this guy in the stands.
Had no idea
of the milestone or anything like that. Later on, you see one of the Buccaneer officials come and they're talking to the guy, and the guy gives the ball back.
Mike Evans on the sideline first. They told him about it. He goes, "Oh, I gave the ball away."
Yeah. He's like, man, I'm my fault. I'm gonna go get it. And so the compensation for what they now one of the guy who's like a big auctioneer guy and understands memorabilia and stuff like that. He said easily in the memorabilia and collectible market, those 600 touchdown pass from Tom Brady could go for $500 million.
$500,000.
Up to $500,000 up to $900,000. He said some of the home run balls that broke records were selling for $250,000. If you're that guy in the stands, before you found out anything about what the ball would have cost. Now, the Buccaneers have given him another autographed ball by Tom Brady, not the 600 one, just a random football, and $1,000 gift card to the pro shop, to the Tampa Bay Pro Shop.
Is that what made you think about it? The pro shop?
Yes.
The pro shop, 10% off?
So
they should have given him a shopping spree.
If you're that guy in that moment, before you find out what happened, but you notice the 600 ball, what do you do?
If they come up to me and ask me to give
yes,
because I know what I know. I had this conversation with Derek earlier.
Okay.
You feel like when you're in the stands, when you get something from someone that you don't really own it. You feel like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like that ball is part of the team. So he probably felt intimidated that, oh, I really need to give this back. At least I'm getting something out of it. If it's me, I'm thinking like, cha-ching, like no,
Right.
I'm not negotiating at the game. If you want this bad enough, come find me.
Right.
Here's my card. Let's talk about it after.
Kurt?
Yeah, I would not want to sell it. To me, it's the player's. It's his trophy, for lack of a better word, or it's the Hall of Fame. So I'd give it back. Now, it'd be nice to get something signed, but
so you would have gave it back. So you would have done what he did.
Oh yeah.
Would you have not?
Gave it back.
You would have.
I would have definitely.
Would you have not said, well, if Tom wants it, Tom can get it from me after the game? It's his ball. I'll give it to him, but I want to meet him.
I would probably say, I would like something signed, obviously, but I wouldn't. To me, it's his ball. He's earned that. It belongs in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't belong. It's not my place to put it on eBay or what. To me, it's no. I'd turn it over.
And you would have given it back as well.
As soon as they asked for it, I'd have gave you a 600 ball, man. Hey, that's great. Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
What would you have done?
There's no way in hell I'm giving that.
What would you have done with it, though?
Oh, no. The compensation wouldn't have to come for that. Like, it would have had to come. Yeah, the numbers would have had to been something where I've paid a house off or something. There's no way in the world that I'm giving that ball back.
Did they let him down there to meet anything after the game?
Like Tom would have had to come talk to me. Like he and I would have had to get eye to eye and say, "Listen,
tell him here's my seat after the game."
Like, take me to him now.
Tom and I would have been doing boat rides on his boat.
Like there would have had to been something.
He'd have been in the guest house with Antonio Brown.
Right. There would have had to been something of great value. Yeah. Like you think about that. Like you just handed away what could have paid off your house, your kid's college tuition, bought you a vacation home, took you on the best vacation ever. That's a life-changing.
I don't want the guy to have it, though, like the player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the player, what's he going to do? Give it to Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't care what he does to it, but what I need for it is
this.
I need this.
That's on Tom for throwing him the ball because he knew he was going to give it away anyway. Yeah. So throw it to someone else.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
No, that's a great question. Are there any teams looking at who's in right now in the NFC? Arizona, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Dallas. Those are in. Wild card race is the Rams, which the Rams are 6-1. New Orleans at 3-2, Minnesota at 3-3. And then you got Atlanta, Chicago, Carolina, all with 3 wins. One of those is probably going to sneak in and New Orleans and Minnesota may fall out. Is there anybody in the driver's seat, Arizona, Tampa, Green Bay, or Dallas, that you don't expect to be there at the end?
No.
I would think those first 5 are pretty locked in.
And the Rams at 6-1.
Yeah. You talk about surprises. I mean, to me, Arizona's a lot of people didn't think they'd make the playoffs and being in that division. 7-0.
They're playing well.
But don't you think just history tells you that one of those teams is going to fall out?
No.
And there's going to be somebody sneaking. You think they're all going to be there?
I think that the first top 5 that you named,
Arizona, Tampa, Green Bay, Dallas, and Rams, all with
one
loss or less.
All going to be there.
All there. Nate, you with them?
Is there any team on that list that you just don't want to see?
That I don't want to play?
That you don't want to. Now, the road to the Super Bowl, if we don't get the number 1 overall seed, will mean we'll have to go on the road to play. And we're going to have to play a combination of 2 of the top 5 teams that you just named.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to play Green Bay, man. I've seen that too many times. Like I think you're equal. You're even so evenly matched with Tampa. Like I know they got Tom, but I think you proven that you can go toe to toe. And I think if you play 10 games with them, you're going to win 4 or 5.
You better have it at home.
You
better have it at home.
See, I'm opposite of Shannon. I don't want to see.
You don't see Tampa?
No, because not only do I don't want to see Tampa, I don't want to see playoff Tom Brady because that's a different level as well.
Would you rather see him than Rodgers in Green Bay?
No, I would take Rodgers in Green Bay.
Really?
Than playing Tampa in Tampa.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
If I had to choose.
I guess I'm just.
If I had to choose.
See, you said earlier Kansas City don't scare you as much. Do you take the Cardinals? Y'all know I've been on this about 3-4 weeks. Is the Cardinals, how long before we decide they serious?
I hadn't watched them enough.
Yeah.
Oh no, they serious.
They're serious.
And they just added Zach Ertz. I mean, they got everything. They got a decent running game. They got Hopkins. They got Kirk. They got what's the other? AJ Green.
Yeah, loaded.
Defensively, they got Chandler Jones. They got J.J. Watt. They got
You can't even remember A.J. Green's name. That means you got some pretty decent wide receivers.
And Kyler Murray is a matchup nightmare because you got to commit someone. Like he makes you have to change the way that you play defense. Because if you bring pressure and you do not get home, he's gone.
But all right, ask you this, Kurt. Start with you. Do any of those teams, like in previous years, 3 out of those 4 teams would scare me playing them? I'm not scared of any of these teams. I think you can. I think you could beat any of these teams on any given day. Is there a team that scares you?
No, I agree. I think the same thing. They can match up with anybody. Actually, Nate and I were talking earlier. Nate said you got to play at home. You don't want to be on the road.
You got to get that first one at home.
I think that's
but the first one at home is going to be like
maybe the Rams.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you almost need to get the number 2 seed.
You got to get the number 2 seed. Like you got to because at number 4, number 5, like you're going to fall into a position where you're going to have to play the Rams or Minnesota, and those games don't scare me. But then after that, you got to go to Green Bay. You got to go to Tampa. Let me tell you something. Tell us.
If the middle of our defense, if it tighten up, I don't care who we play, as long as we at home. If the middle of our defense tighten up, you can line them up and we'll knock them down. Especially if we can get the first and second week at the crib, line them up. If the middle of our defense is tight, I ain't worried about none of them.
The only way we get the first and second week at the crib is we got to finish what, 1 or 2?
1 or 2, yeah.
1 or 2 guarantees it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we would have a bye the first round, right? Is that it?
Not 2.
No,
Wade Phillips said we won that anyway.
Number 1 gets it only.
No, number 1's the only one because they got the 8 team in there.
Right.
But if you the number 2 guy, you still at home for 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. Anything outside of that, we go on the road.
But
after
still,
week 1.
if the middle of our defense tightens up, it's over. I'm telling you. If Gallimore can come back, if my big boy from Kentucky can start playing better and more consistent, if number 75 Osa continue to get better and better, we will crack some heads, bro.
You know what? Think of this though. You got to finish 1 or 2, right? Everybody's right there. Arizona's not even 7-0, and you're right there with them, right? Mm-hmm. Listen to the schedule. Tell me, Kurt. Guarantee me a loss here. Say yes, that's a guaranteed loss at Minnesota.
Well, I don't think any of them are guaranteed losses.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could be. It's set up for you to be 1 or 2 right now,
brother.
Which is crazy for us to even be talking about that.
But this other
after week 7,
Tampa's probably saying the same thing. Green Bay,
but I mean, you got at Minnesota, home versus Denver, home versus Atlanta, at Kansas City. Doesn't look that scary. Vegas, who the hell knows what they're going to be on Thanksgiving?
Did they win yesterday?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
I'm telling you, man, that special team coach going to have them playing.
Rich, especially against us.
Yeah,
he's going to want to come in here and do something.
The only thing that's going to scare me because I was telling Kurt on the phone, the reason we are able to punish teams is because we're so multifaceted. We can run, we can throw, we can do anything we want offensively. What if we play a team that can play with us offensively? We got 2 or 3 of them. That's what I'm saying. Now,
might be Minnesota.
But their defense is strong in the middle and on the outsides. That is going to be the difference maker in the playoffs.
And you look at Tampa Bay's schedule going forward. They got Saints, Washington, Giants, Colts, Falcons. This is the one. December 12th would be the one match where they maybe could lose this game. And I'm not saying it's a definite, but they're gonna have to bring their whole lunch pail.
Cowboy players, please do not listen to this show. Please.
December 12th.
Tell your moms, dads, brothers, cousins, grandmamas, and all, do not listen to this show.
They play the Bills. Then after that, Saints, Carolina, Jets.
That's who's gonna change the
Carolina.
Watch out for the Saints. Anything that Sean Payton got his hands on, I'm scared of.
So it's going to come down to a situation where maybe they lose to Buffalo, maybe we lose to Arizona. Like, you see how that like those 1 or 2 games throughout the year. To me, I just that Tampa team, man.
Arizona got the toughest road because they got Green Bay.
I was looking at that,
and they got still got the Seahawks. The Bears, they are lost.
They got Seahawks twice, so they're going to get with Russell for
and
one.
And they still got the
sure.
Rams, and the Rams is smarting from that last whoop. They do not like how that went down. But
and Dallas.
I'm gonna tell you something, fellas. I'm telling you something. We need a surgeons in the middle of our defense. We need to let teams know.
What if we don't get it? What if we don't get it?
Would you trade for it?
If we don't get a surgeons in the middle of our defense, that's going to stunt the growth of our linebacker. Because the team's going to be like, okay, if we get the ball first and we score, Dallas ain't going to panic. But if we can get 9 points up, that's going to make everybody get in a little itchy mode.
Because don't think for 1 second that teams didn't watch what New England did to us in the running game. Now, granted, everyone's not built like them. Everyone didn't have the knowledge that they have as far as coaching and how to call this stuff up. But don't think for 1 second they weren't watching how the Cowboys are being countered and having that speed used against them. And when you talk about playoff football, I'm talking about the playoff team. I ain't talking about the Giants. I'm talking about the playoff teams.
Playoffs?
Your Tampa Bay, they can run the football. They want to run the football. Green Bay, they can run the football.
We've made Jones a household name.
Right. And then they got Aaron Jones, they got A.J. Dillon. Those 2 backs right there are I'm not saying
look where they finna face coming up.
I'm just Dalvin Cook. Jesus Christ. Tampa to me. I just when I watch Tom play, that's how he's so surgical. He just knows where it's supposed to go.
We do not need for them to get home. We do not need for them to be 1 or 2. We need to somehow get ahead of them.
All right, Kurt. Which team, before we get out of here, we got to go. Which team do you, out of those teams, which team do you not want to see? Which team would you prefer to see?
Out of those top 5 or whatever?
Yeah. All the ones that have 1 loss or less.
Yeah, probably Brady and the Bucs because they've been there, done that. They know what to expect. Who I want to see? If I can get Arizona home maybe because they got a lot of firepower, but they're new to this. And I'd sure like another crack at Rodgers.
Now, what about you, Jess?
I don't want to see Tampa. Mm-hmm. And I'll take Green Bay.
Really?
I'll take Green Bay. I think defensively they have a lot of holes. I think defensively they had a lot of holes, and if you can make Aaron mess up once, and he got a little.
He's flappable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had him on the ropes outside of DeMarco Murray fumble.
Yeah.
We had him on the ropes. We had him on the ropes.
What about you, Nate?
If we can eat enough donuts and enough pork chops and stop the middle, I'm serious, dog. I'm serious.
Name two. Who you don't want to see and who you want to see.
I don't want to see Tampa Bay. I don't want to see Tampa Bay. But you bring me the rest of them, man. I'm going to go over there and sabotage their nutrition plan. I'm finna get me some fat guys. It's just somebody. Can we make a trade for the dude, for the middle of the dude for Tampa? What his name? The big
Vita Vea? I don't think they're going to let him. I don't think they're going to let him
Well,
go.
he was short out this bad week.
Yeah,
he was short out, dog.
All right, Kurt. Good seeing you, man.
He played a little tailback in high school.
Good to be
you know
back
that,
together.
Right? Big Bill. He played a little tailback in high school. They showed him on TV.
Good seeing you, Jesse. Thanks for bringing it, Nate. Chris,
thanks for reminding me.
Aaron, thanks for keeping Chris straight. William, thanks. Please get our show right this week.
Y'all
need all the help we get.
Text Jesse and tell him to answer my texts and my calls.
Nope.
That's it. From the TikTok of the Dallas Cowboys Podcast Network, this has been Hangin' with the Boys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!